Howdy y'all, it's me Dr. E again, here to help you out with Module 3. Got a bit to do this week. Yeah. You start working on your Milestone 2, you have a discussion to participate in, and you also should start crafting your final project presentation, right? Now I'm going to go over each of those and give you some more insights to help you out, okay? So first up, 3.1 discussion progress. All right, this is a pretty open discussion prompt. You really want to share your experience so far, right? What have you been doing? What issues have you been encountering? Have you found any resources that might be helpful for your fellow classmates since you've read about their project ideas? Yeah, you could also feel free to vent because I know how frustrating doing research and writing can be, right? Don't worry about that. We're here to help support you. That's your initial post, if you would, and then for your response post, times 2 to your classmates, you want to offer support and guidance. All right, don't skimp on it. Really engage. Try to be helpful. As I said, we're here to help support each other. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to say much more about that. So let me move on to the next assignment, 3.2 Milestone 2 Reminder. Okay, so you've submitted your Milestone 1, your research question problem, and your background information. Great. Really appreciate you all emailing me and sharing your ideas so I can help give you initial feedback on that. Now, you need to move on to the next part, Milestone 2, which is actually due next week at the end of Module 4, right? But I want to give you information about it now to help you out so you're not left freaking out about it, okay? So Milestone 2 really has 2 basic parts to it. Your theory and a literature review. Okay. Now, in the written portion of this announcement, I have key information about both of those aspects. Okay. Now, let me try to give you a little overview of it to help you out. So you'll see in the written portion that I have a section on theory. And actually all of this is taken from my Module 1 announcement, right? I figure it'd just be easier for you rather than having to go back to previous announcements and find the stuff just to repost it for you. So I am reposting all the theory resources that I have collected, right, that are for your benefit to help you with your capstone project. What I would suggest is starting with let's see here, it's called Anthropological Theories, a Guide Prepared by Students for Students by Murphy. And I have a direct link to it. It's the very first one that you see underneath theory, okay? And it's a great place just to kind of orient yourself, right? Keep in mind, your theory has to, it has to be connected to your area of concentration, right? It is the means by which you will analyze the problem, right, that you're focusing on, right? So it's concentration specific. Okay, so if you're an environmental sustainability concentration, you want theory that specifically focuses on that, right? A good example, if you're dealing with natural resources, which most folks that are environmental sustainability majors do, using a combination of cultural ecology and political ecology is a good combination, right? The cultural ecology actually lets you see how things are used and why they're used the way they are. The political ecology helps you understand how the decisions are made about those things, right? It's political. So yeah, you can, with that first resource, the guide prepared by students for students, right? You can look those up, right? And it'll have a nice little breakdown, a nice abstract to give you an overview of the theory. Then I have several more resources for theory where you can actually look up and explore in greater detail the theories that you're interested in, right? And I have several of them here. Bernard, Moore, Dia et al., Ortner, and Baba, okay? And some of these are pretty meaty, right? So make use of the table of contents, index, things like that to help you find the one that you're interested in. I do not expect you to read all of these resources. Rather, they're resources for you to peruse to find the information you need to address your theoretical aspect, right? What theory you're going to be applying to analyze your problem. Okay? Hope that makes sense. And of course, when you're writing up your theory, right, always start with defining it, right? You can't have a discussion of it until it's grounded. You actually have to inform the reader that your theory is X and it is defined as blah, 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 all right? Then you relate that to your particular issue and how it's going to offer you key insight into it, right? Make the connection solid. Support your points. It's a good idea if there are examples that you can highlight that show how these sorts of theories have been used to give the sort of insight that you want for your particular problem. Okay? Moving on. Literature review. Now, lit reviews are as much an art as they are a science. All right. I could teach a whole class on this, but unfortunately, I don't have the time for that. So I'm going to try to give you a very abridged and functional interpretation here. Okay. Let me stress that without having your research question focused and narrowed down, all right, you're really going to be shooting in the dark here, okay? Because you need that sort of specificity to focus your literature review, all right? So if you're still having trouble nailing down your question problem, all right, work with me directly, and we'll get that taken care of, so you can move forward with your literature review. Now, it'll help you to think about the sort of information you need right, for your project, right? There's background information, there is case study specific stuff, scholarly information about your topic and inherent issues to it. What I suggest is making use of Shapiro Library, all right? And if you go to Shapiro Library, which I'm going to do right now, you won't see it, but I'm going there. You will see kind of up at the top, you have home, about the library, find articles, ebooks, and more, research guides, all right? Click research guides, all right? And then it'll give you a menu of different disciplines. Aha! Scroll on down there and you will see anthropology. Click that bad boy. And then boom! You have access to all sorts of good stuff here. Let's see here. It used to. So you'll see over on the left-hand side now, you've arrived at the Anthropology Research Guide homepage, right? If you look over on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see finding books and ebooks, finding articles, right? Finding web resources, yada yada. I would suggest focusing on the finding articles, right? You want scholarly work, right? News articles and stuff like that, yeah, they can be helpful for like making a point or supporting a point, but you really want to focus on scholarly sources for your literature review. All right, so using the Finding Articles button here is what's going to serve you best. Now, that said, Google Scholar is another great resource you can use for doing a literature review. Okay, when it comes to actually searching for lit, okay, think about the themes that are inherent to your project, right? Those will help you develop your search terms, okay? Yeah, remember that even though your project may be focused in a particular place, right? That doesn't mean that you just have to look for lit about that place, right? Like, yes, you will want to do that, but sometimes when you get really narrow on a specific area or place or people, you start to limit what sort of literature you're going to be able to find, okay? So in that sort of situation, it's okay to kind of broaden back out. You just want to make sure that you're still looking at the same sort of group, right? Things like that. Yeah. Also keep in mind you need to be searching for literature that you're going to use in milestone 3, right? Which is your conclusion and recommendations to help solve your problem. All right, so that's going to be a special section of lit that you're going to be wanting to search for here. For each source that you find when you write your literature review, you want to give a general overview of it, and you want to assess it, right? Is it from a peer-reviewed source? Is it a news article? And what does that say about its credibility, right? You also want to identify how you're going to be using it. Are you using it for background information? Are you using it for specific case study information? Are you using it because it's an example that you can use for your evidence-based recommendations, milestone 3? So yeah, that should help you out. All right, and I know that's a real quick rundown, but I can't drone on forever here. So if you're having issues with theory, literature review, things like that, please get a hold of me as soon as you can, and I can try to help guide you some more. All right, moving on back. The last assignment you should be starting on is 3.3 Final Project Presentation, and it just says Start Work. Now, it may be difficult to start on this because you haven't really developed all your milestones yet, right? You really only have milestone 1, now you're going to be working on milestone 2, and then you have milestone 3 yet to come. So what I suggest is, since you have your milestone 1 done, that is the portion that you should address for the presentation right now, okay? Because you can't invent stuff that you haven't done yet, right? So yeah, I would focus on defining your question, problem, right, and the background information to it for your presentation right now. Once you've done milestone 2, then you can start incorporating that information into your presentation, and so on and so forth. I hope that makes sense. that's where I'm going to leave this announcement. I hope that it helps you helps better orient you and gives you insights on how to approach and execute these assignments. Of course, if you have any questions, any concerns, anything at all, I'm there for you. All right, consider me a resource in your back pocket. No question is too big or too small. I'm always at your service. So I'll leave it there, and I'll see you all in discussion forums. Take care.